Damn, and I think the problem is, and this is gonna be a controversial statement, but please, when I say this, don't stop listening. Hear me out, okay? I think the problem in America is Black History Month. Okay, I said it. Hear me out. If you listen to this podcast, we already talked about the key players. We talked about Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, blah blah blah. You all heard of them, of course.
The A-listers.
Because you heard about them during Black History Month. That's the reason why you know about them. What you don't know is all the slew of other African Americans that are out there because we are relegated to one fucking month. All right, our history is American history, and it needs to be taught with the rest of American history. When you don't hear about, I forget the guy's first name, but Carver, the peanut butter guy, and all this other stuff.
George Washington.
Thank you. There we go. Sorry, I've been drinking, y'all. All right. But when you don't hear about him alongside of other Caucasian inventors, that's a fucking problem. When you don't hear about the guy that invented the stoplight, sorry, I've been drinking. All right, I'm gonna fuck part of this up.
I think his name's Jan. I'll give it to you. Keep going.
There's all kinds of the guy that invented the Super Soaker, the guy that invented. There's all kinds of shit that African American inventors invented, but you don't hear about it because I have to cram in these certain African Americans in one fucking month. If you can just teach our history alongside of the rest of American history and the history of Asian Americans and Hispanic Americans, and not only teach just Caucasian American history for the rest of the fucking years besides 1 month, that'll be a fucking good start for the vast majority of Americans so they can understand that what we went through and that we are also part of your history. I think it's a problem. So I listened to this from the guy that the African American guy who basically converted a whole bunch of Klansmen. I forget his name.
Yeah, he was on the Joe Rogan show.
Yeah, this is why I should write shit down because I wasn't expecting to say this. I usually don't write shit down, but he broke down why we shouldn't be having.
Daryl Davis, right?
There we go, Daryl Davis. That's his name.
And the guy who did the stoplight is Garrett Morgan.
Thank you very much. This is why we're a team. This is awesome. But yeah, we're silencing other prominent and important people of color voices because we're relegating them to 1 month for whatever, and even women as well. We have a Women's Month, where there's other women that invented stuff and that are very prominent women, but we relegate them to a month. Like, why are we doing that? Yeah. We need to just teach it throughout all of the year so that way, when the month is done, you don't fucking forget about them. Because when you teach, African American history during Black History Month, and you have it in February, and then March comes around, and it's not reinforced that there are more people like them that contributed positively to American society, you're gonna forget about it, and that's anything is like that. Like, can you imagine doing how can I equate this to like math? Could you imagine doing algebra, but you only focused on fractions, actually, for a week?
Yeah.
That's the equivalency. It's like, oh yeah, here you got fractions for a week, but the rest of the year we're gonna teach all this other shit. It's important too, but yeah, so are fucking fractions. You should probably reinforce fractions too. It's come on. And I think that we're doing a disservice to our education system. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, even I took Black History Month in college, and we didn't touch. I don't remember at all ever talking about the whole Black Wall Street thing. We didn't talk about any Black inventors. We just talked about civil rights. We talked about how we try to change our lives to make it better, but we didn't talk about people who were making the world a better place, or go into more details about for example Rosa Parks, or even the bus strike. I don't remember even talking about that, how the strike lasted for a year, and the bus system was going bankrupt because mainly Black people were taking the bus. So it's there's shit out there that they're just not really teaching people.
Well, I can tell you. Sorry, what?
I was going to say.
Go ahead, man.
But I did read the book fucking Roots. I know that fucking book in and out. Which it's somewhat fictional, but it is based on somewhat of a true story.
Wait, Blue, you said in college or in high school?
In college.
That was weird because my
I think
experience
that
was. Oh, see, I took a year-long course
Yeah,
at
mine's was a quarter.
San Jose State. No, mine was a year long, and we went through a lot of history, a lot of stuff. We had to write papers. We went through a bunch, and it was taught by an African American professor. And we went through a bunch. We went through African involvement in the Revolutionary War, because everyone kept talking about how there were no black people in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, that's what you thought? Nope, nope, nope." He brought up.
Surprise, motherfucker.
We went through. So we had our
Benjamin Banneker.
yeah, our textbook was a book called Before the Mayflower.
Yes.
Yeah, and we went through that literally page by fucking page, and it was like we had to write a paper on that. We had to write a paper on Malcolm X's autobiography, and then we had to find someone who was part of the Reconstruction era and write a paper on that too. So and it was like super like intense. And like literally the very first day of class, the professor said, just because you're black does not mean you get a free pass. You're going to do the work. If you don't do the work, you're not passing. And on top of that, he also said that you need to encourage your white friends to take this course.
I went to Louisiana, University of Louisiana. Old Ninja went to San Jose State, but I know you, Prodigy, went to an HBCU.
So did I.
University in Atlanta. Oh, wait, what?
I went my freshman year was at Morris Brown College.
Yep.
Okay. Was stuff taught differently there in terms of like Black history or whatever? I mean, that's a whole different topic for a different day about everything that happens at HBCU compared to like regular other colleges. But in terms of like history,
yeah. Quick, short answer: yes. More detailed, although it's just regular classes, so it's certainly not mandatory per se. But if you are taking certain electives, depending on your major, yes, you can get deep into some African American or just African diaspora history classes. That is a yes. Quick shout out to Mama Prodigy, who is a English teacher. Mama Prodigy made sure that my young black ass was reading so many fucking black history books. They were coming out of my fucking ears. I was rolling my eyes. I'm doing the same goddamn thing with my kids now. They can't stand me for it. I'm also making them watch shit that they don't want to watch and gives them nightmares, like the Selma stuff, things with the Klan in it, things about the Civil War. There is a responsibility with parents that I want to see. I know I got two other parents on the show. There's a responsibility with parents that has to be part of the conversation. The school is not going to educate your child properly on history. It's never going to fucking happen. You got to, as a parent, make that motherfucker read till they hate you.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Just as a teaser, hopefully I will be, and I love that because I didn't know how I would address Mama Prodigy, but I love that name or whatever. So hopefully tomorrow I plan on interviewing Mama Prodigy about her experiences in the civil rights era and stuff like that. So I don't think, and I thought about it, I'm like, it'd be an amazing field trip to get Lilo to hear firsthand and witness that, but she'll probably have to watch Storm. But I cannot wait to ask her so many questions, because Mama Prodigy will spoon feed you that castor oil, whether you like it or not, or whatever, and you go and taste it, you go and drink it, and when you think you're full, here's another spoonful, and you going to take it.
Real quick teaser for that. My grandfather, her dad, he passed away like a couple years ago, 2018, maybe 2019. That house is walking distance. You can throw a fucking football to Rosa Parks' former house. Family, friends, and whatnot. And when I was back there for the funeral, all the stories were about how Rosa Parks was like as a human being in her the same age as we were.
So are you talking about family?
Like, yeah. So
I'm going to really try to figure out a way, because I really want Lilo to hear that interview live in person and anything, and to see if we can make that happen for tomorrow and everything.
So you know what's weird?
Sorry, just kind of a sidebar real quick. Sorry, since we mentioned Rosa Parks. This is why we need like better education on Black History Month, because when Barbie released the Rosa Parks Barbie doll, when I saw it, I was super fucking offended because Rosa Parks was light-skinned, and I thought to myself, I'm like, is Rosa Parks light-skinned or is she dark? I always thought she was dark. I thought she was dark. And I went and looked at a picture of her. I was like, dude, I felt like I was in like a parallel universe. It's like everything I thought I knew about Rosa Parks, that shit was just out the window. So she wasn't like a traditional looking black lady. She was a red bone basically.
Well, this is the weird thing is that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like it really doesn't matter the shade of your skin. Like if you are of black descent, you were hated on back then, and it still kind of goes on now.
Yeah, well, and it's weird the fact that they needed to darken her skin up to make it seem more acceptable in the history books.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
that shit is real fucked up. So the one thing that I've been realizing lately, so me and Prodigy we're related. If y'all didn't know, we're cousins.
Now you're claiming me.
Yeah. But if y'all didn't know, at least on my side, so I'm gonna ask Prodigy because I actually don't know the answer to this question. I'm gonna ask him.
Mm-hmm.
So on my side, my biological father and my mom were both in the Black Panthers. So I have like a whole history of civil rights stuff that I thought it was done. I was like, yeah, we fucking won. And what I'm realizing now is that like these recent events have woken up. Like it's like my parents left seeds within me to start fighting, and that's why you're getting all of these videos now, because I think that there was something that was always there inside of me to like fight this sort of injustice that is just laid dormant for so long, and now it's waking up. So my question to Prodigy is, was your mom also part of the civil rights? Because I honestly don't know. Was she part of the civil rights movement? Was she also in the Black Panthers with my mom?
Go ruin my interview.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not sure.
I'm just kidding.
Stay tuned for that answer.
I'm going to say this. I'll wait for Mama Prodigy to go into more detail because there may be some things I learned about my mom. I know for civil rights, yes, in Alabama.
Yeah.
But what's funny about what you mentioned, Kronos, I associate Panther Association and affiliation with my father.
Ah, okay.
Who grew up in Richmond.
Yeah.
And obviously that's right down from Oakland.
Yeah.
And had lived in Oakland for plenty of years in his day. And he was the one that was always telling me the Panther stories. And to use give a shout out to a local bookshop. We would go in as a kid to Marcus's bookstore, the oldest independent black-owned bookstore in the fucking country, and we'd hear more stories about the Panthers and whatnot. So, and I heard that as a kid, and it was amazing. But I associate Panthers more with my dad, and with my mom more Montgomery, Rosa Parks, civil rights, MLK.
Well, I think that this is
that where we saw Rosa Parks at back in the day?
Yeah, actually, yes. I forgot about that. Yeah.
What's crazy is that what makes me the most infuriated about this whole thing is that, my mom, who isn't, she's still alive, but she is not in a condition to really understand what's going on. And my dad passed away. Prodigy's dad passed away. And both our dads died, likely assuming that what they did in their past made a giant change in America, and that they left a better life for their kids. And what's infuriating for me, at least, I don't know if you feel the same kind of rage, Prodigy, but the fact that both of our fathers died not knowing that they essentially failed. You know what I mean? But it's not their fault. I'm not putting it on them. Obviously, they were America lied to them in that whole generation in thinking that they won and that they were equal, that we are equal. The children of those people that fought for those rights, bled for those rights, died for those rights, they let them believe that they won and that their children's futures were going to be better. And it is clearly not the case. And that hurts part of my soul. I mean, really, to like watch my parents' dreams dying on TV in front of me, and people to be so dismissive about that shit, that fucking all lives matter nonsense. When what did you fight for your all lives matter? Have you? Did your parents fight for your all lives matter? Did they? Are you going through the same shit? You know that people of color are. You're not. And if you there's no way you are. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissing the fact that Caucasians don't have fucking problems. I get it. If you're poor, if you live in a fucking trailer park, if you're addicted to fucking to drugs, all that shit, I got you. But you know what you don't understand? Is that you can still walk into a store and still not be looked at weird unless you're really fucked up. You know, unless you look really fucked up, then yeah. But you fucked up.
If you walk into the store and start singing and puking all over the floor, people are gonna look at you.
Yeah, but if I, as an African American man that has made a decent amount of money, you know what I mean? I'm not living in fucking poverty. I'm in the upper middle. I've been in the capitalist class. Google it if you want to. That's how much money I used to make. I used to be in the capitalist class. If me being in the capitalist class and then walking in a liquor store, if somebody still looks at me everywhere that I go, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's what everybody is talking about. Okay? So just understand that shit.
I do want to get to Trump in just 1 second. I just want to piggyback one last quick thing. I'm so sorry. I know we're going all over the place.
Yeah, we are.
I don't care if we go long.
I'll break it up.
Yeah, we're gonna go long. Fuck it. But the thing, I don't even have work tomorrow. But the thing that's actually fascinating to me is that I always looked at time like in the 50s, 60s, 70s as being so long ago.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, I look at it as much more recent. You know, maybe it's with kids, maybe it's with getting older myself. But even things that I heard growing up, like, oh, you know, they don't allow, at least within my family. I'm not saying this was in the media or whatever, but my parents would tell me, oh, they didn't allow black people to live in Castro Valley or San Leandro they literally told me, hey, we're fortunate because someone liked us enough to live over in Fremont in this house. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been allowed to live here. In my lifetime, in our lifetime, literally there was on the books discrimination to say, no matter what your income is, capital class or not, you are black and applying for a home loan, fuck out of here.
Yeah, look up. Hold on, just so everybody can understand. Hold on, real quick. Hold on,
anyway.
Blue, stop, real quick. Just say what you need to say, like right after what I'm saying. If you are surprised on what Prodigy just said, just Google redlining, and that will just that alone educate yourself. That's what he's talking about. Anyway, Blue, go ahead. Say what you want to say.
No, I was just saying, like, Miss Venus and I just bought a house, and I was talking to my neighbor, and she's been living there for quite a long time, and she mentioned how she's glad that there's an interracial couple living in her neighborhood because that area was mostly white, and it wasn't for people of color to live there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this isn't Hayward.
I understand your frustration, and obviously I empathize and I sympathize and I can relate to it, Kronos, in terms of like where it feels like our forefathers and parents didn't make progress. Maybe I'm a little bit more optimistic and everything on that whole subject. I mean, yeah, when you look at it in terms of the whole big picture, I still feel we have made some progress, not in terms of what it is that we would have wanted and everything. I mean, I was talking to one of my good white friends or whatever. I'm like, sometimes black people just have to be happy kicking a field goal rather than scoring a touchdown or whatever. And it's sad that we have to say that or have to be relegated to like, yeah, bronze medal, fucking awesome. We got a bronze. I'm still fucking excited about that, but it's still a bronze and everything, but it's still, like I don't want to say that like it didn't matter because, and this is why I get so angry with some of the stuff that I've been seeing going on very recently with this whole Trump stuff, is that I feel that he is doing stuff actively and purposely to set us back from all the positive accomplishments that has happened that our forefathers did for us. Like, I will never, and I'm so thankful, and I've said it before to friends or whatever, I'm so thankful I am not living during an era of segregation where I could not, because my wife is white. I love white girls or whatever, obviously. I mean, you told me I can't holler at Lilo or whatever, I saw her walking down the street or whatever, and you're going to tell me, yeah, that's illegal, we're going to lynch you for that shit? We go, that's problems and everything. So I even though in terms of like the big picture, yeah, things are not equal, and that's what they fought for. That's what Dr. King for, is wanted pure 100% quality. So even though that we are not there yet, I don't want to, and I'm not trying to say you're being dismissive of what they did. I'm not trying to say that at all. I am grateful and so appreciative that I do have the right to vote. My vote does count for a whole entire person. I don't have to drink out of a hose instead of a fucking water fountain. And it's just like certain things like that. I don't want people to like. Those are major fucking accomplishments. Yeah. And I will talk about. And like I'm not trying to downplay what you're saying or whatever, because when you did say it or whatever, real talk, it did hurt me, because it hurt me that one of my brothers did feel this way about the progress we've made or whatever. And when I heard it was like 3 a.m, I'm like, yo, I'm like, it sucks, especially watching all this shit happen. It does fucking suck. But thankfully, we did, and I'll talk about it when I do talk about my conversation with my mom that I had about stuff that she experienced going on in Virginia. I don't have to worry about someone accusing me of talking to a white female and being lynched up in a tree in a 24-hour time period. There's some fucked up shit that does happen in terms of like law and justice for colored people, but I do feel a little bit comfortable that that should not be a reality for happening to me and everything.
So this is
and
go
ahead. And then like I said, I'm not trying to tell you how you should feel. That's not what I'm doing.
I'm not saying negatively. Yeah, I got you.
It's just I have a little bit of slight optimism towards the entire thing, and to try to push our conversation into this whole what I saw happen the other day. I took pride in my ability never to be able to say I will never in my life have a fire hose or a dog sicked on me for believing that I believe that all people should be treated equal.
Yeah, but
never in my life.
But
and I talked with Lilo about this, and I was like, that's why I don't get worked up about this stuff, because I feel like I don't want to get on my soapbox and scream too loud. And I said this before that shit happened. I don't want to get on my soapbox and scream too loud about how we are being treated unfairly, because I recognize and I remember the shit that my parents probably went through that I have no fucking rationalized in terms of like, they just want to go sit in a diner and just chill at a countertop, and they're having fucking people just smash eggs and punch them in the back of the head, and they couldn't do shit. And if they're trying to peacefully protest and they're having German Shepherds, which I love my fucking dog, I own a German Shepherd, having him fucking attacked on me and just being like, bite that motherfucker, or having a fire department called on me just for standing there doing nothing and getting blasted and doing fucking cartwheels. I'm so glad that I would never have to see that happen in my lifetime to me or to any other person, whether they be a white person, Hispanic, anybody that happened. And then literally, I watched that shit happen, and it was just like, it was almost like a karma thing, because I had been saying it. I was like, I'm numb to this stuff. Like, I've seen it before. I've seen it all happen or whatever. I don't have to worry about it. So that's why I don't get outraged. I literally tell Lilo this all the time. I'm like, that's why I'm not outraged. I'm not freaking out. I'm not in tears. And then I saw something that I know my parents saw in terms of chemical agents being used on fucking chemical agents being used on people that are peacefully protesting, I lost my shit. I literally, and all y'all know me, and I'm a very cool, calm, chill person. I don't ever really scream, holler, hoot, ready to fight somebody. I lost my motherfucking shit or whatever. And y'all know my background. I've been trained on riot lines. I know what to do in like riot situations. I can't imagine, in deeper levels, I can't imagine being told to do that, me executing that order. But just watching that happen was just so fucking scary to me and mind blowing. And I don't understand why people do not have that same reaction. And people are denying and be like, "Oh, well, it wasn't tear gas, it was smoke or whatever." Oh, pepper balls aren't the same as tear gas. Shut the fuck up with that shit. Like, and I don't want to fully transition into the whole Trump thing based on what. If you guys have stuff to touch on the previous topic, I lost my motherfucking mind when I saw that shit. I was shaking mad.
Well, that's
I have a question. Go ahead. I have a question for Cronus and Stitch. It's a legit question. So it deals with your it deals with your significant others. Do they know that at one point throughout these United States that it was illegal for you two to have a union? The reason why I leave blue out is because they didn't care about if minorities intermingled. They only cared as if you married someone that was white.
Blue's not married?
No, but he's married to
someone. He's married to someone that's Hispanic, and they didn't care about that.
Do you think people looking at the sweetness will just automatically assume and not be like, yo, darky, yo, colored boy, come here. I gotta talk to you. You think that will prevent someone from putting their hands on blue if we were living in 1954?
Yeah, no. people saw the sweetness and they'd have been on my ass for sure.
What was that? Wait, we got an audience? What was that?
No, that was Prodigy laughing.
That was Prodigy laughing.
Sorry, they got me.
Yeah. No, it's just. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say now, because that shit was funny. Because it's fucked up, and it's true. You know, I mean, Stitch. You know, I'm glad that you brought it back to. I mean, you see it. You know what I mean? Like you see what I'm seeing as well. You know, you might have more hope than me, but it's just like it's there, and like seeing. So, and I'm glad that we have somebody that has a law enforcement background and somebody from the military background on this fucking podcast, because we can break down things from like a stern perspective that most podcasts likely can't.
Oh my god!
You know,